Hi, I'm Tim and this is Timberway Designs. In this video here I take 10 common rocks that anybody can find or that my viewers find for me, and I cut them in half and we can look at and see what's inside. I got 10 rocks here that were sent to me from Gloria that lives down in Tennessee. We're going to cut these in half and take a look at them. And then after we're done with these, I got 10 rocks or 10 cabochons I made out of 10 rocks I cut in half that Jennifer sent me from California. It's some really neat looking cabs, so stick around for that. And then my voice is kind of messed up right now because got a little cold thingy going here, which really is a drag in the summertime, so just bear with me. So let's turn the camera around and take a look at these rocks here. So these are the rocks that Gloria sent me up from Tennessee, which are really similar to the rocks that Janie sent me from Mississippi. Got some agate looking stuff in here. Let's take a look at them. So this one here got some fortifications right there. Big crack. Yeah, you can kind of see a little bit in the window there. And it goes all the way around like there. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's looking kind of neat. Okay. This one here, I think it's got some pattern going on there. Not a lot of anything anywhere else. Yeah. Okay. This one here, got kind of a red shirty looking thing going on. There's some pattern right there. It looks kind of cool. All right. Yeah, this one might be interesting. I like the red. Hopefully it's red on the inside as well. There's another one showing a little red right there. And it almost looks like there's some pattern in there too. Other than that, it's just a rock. And yeah, maybe it's an agate on the inside. Another one. Kind of looks plain Jane on the outside. See what it looks like on the inside. Okay, I got one here with some stripes. And it looks like fortifications. You can kind of see it right there. Oh yeah. We got going here. Oh yeah, full of fortifications. Okay, looking pretty cool there. This one, some more red. A lot of red. Yeah. It's a rather colorful rock there. And this one, got some red going on there. That's about it. But you never know what's you never know what's hiding in these things. That's what's so cool about this. That's bright red too. And this one here. Looks like it's got some fortifications, but I don't know. Another one with some red inside, maybe. We'll find out. And then I had an extra one here. I'm kind of curious to see what's inside this one. It's kind of heavily pitted, but you never know. Let's get it wet. Yep. All right. So I'm going to take these rocks downstairs to the 10-inch lapidary saw, and we're going to cut them in half and see what's inside. So I'll see you down on the saw. All right, we're down here on my high-tech 10-inch lapidary saw. I have no affiliation with high-tech. This is just a saw I use right now. So we got the 10 rocks here. First thing I'm going to do is show you that this blade is absolutely not sharp. I'm rubbing my thumb on it right now, and I don't even cut a nitro glove. So don't worry about me cutting my fingers. And next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to touch it up a little. Well, actually, this is a brand new blade. I don't have to touch this one up. So let's start cutting. All right, first up, this one here. I'm just going to cut this end off. All right, episode 53, first rock. Let's see what we got. Oh, that's interesting. Cool pattern. You never expect it would be white on the inside. Okay, and we're going to talk about these rocks a little bit more upstairs. So we're just going to cut them now. All right, got the agate here. I was kind of thinking about this, and there's fortifications everywhere you look. So I'm thinking I'm going to split it. I'm going to split it right down the middle. Okay, cut an agate. Let's see how we did. Ooh, liking that. Okay. All right, got this red one here, and yeah, I think I'm gonna split it. Well, let's see what this one's got going on inside. Ooh, that's a cool looking pattern in there. Alright. Got this one here. I think I'm going to cut this face off right here. Right along there. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay. Kind of looks the same on the outside as it does on the inside. Alright. Alright, got another agate here. Let's see. I'm going to split it. Alright, let's see what's in this agate. Oh. That's cool. Yeah. Alright, we'll talk more about this upstairs. Alright, got this one. I'm just going to split it. Alright, let's see what this bumpy old rock's got to show us. Ooh, that's really interesting. It's really red. Alright, this one here. I'm going to split this one as well. Okay, see what we got. That's interesting. Nice red dot and some pattern. Okay. I'm going to touch this blade up a little bit. These rocks are really hard. Alright, got this one here, another agate. And I'm going to cut just the face off right here. Let's see what we did this time. Whoa. Look at that. That is pretty. Okay. Put this one here. I'm going to cut this edge off right here. See. Ooh, look at that pattern. That's cool. Okay. Okay, get this one here. I'm going to cut this face off. So we're going to have a cool looking pattern in this one? Yeah. Looks like a picture rock. Awesome. Alright, I got a little extra one here. I just want to see what's inside of it. It's kind of craggly and all looking. I'm just going to split it right down the middle. Let's see what this old pockmarked rock look like. Ooh, wow. Never knowing looking at the outside. It pays to cut them in half sometime. Alright, I'm going to take all these rocks upstairs and I'm going to take a closer look at them, talk about them a little bit. We'll see you up there. Okay, we are back upstairs and we got some really cool looking rocks here. So, I'll give this one a little bath here. We'll look at this one first. So, kind of a chert jade looking rock. Look at that. Cool pattern on the inside. Got some sparklies right there, a little druzy pocket. A few fractures, but I don't know if they're good fractures, like healed fractures, or they're just active fractures. But we'll find out. But man, there's gonna be some pattern in there. Actually, it looks like there's some fortifications right there. You can see those. So not bad for a plain looking rock. We had this lumpy looking one here. Rinse the crumbs off. And there's the inside. Some really pretty red. Got some pattern up here on top. Yeah. Kind of cool. Actually really cool. You got this one here. Nothing going on the outside hardly. Look at that. It's almost got a violet or purple hue to it. Multicolored and patterned. It's got a few fractures in it. You can see one right there. They're fractured, but like I always say, we can work around it somehow. That's pretty. Okay, got ourselves one of the agates here. There's a window there, and you can kind of see fortifications all around this thing. So, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Who knew they could find agates like this down south? It's just crazy. But I'm glad you did and sent them up here so I could share them with everybody. Look at that. It's got fortifications all over the place. This one here. Another plain looking rock on the outside, but you cut these things in half and look at that. That's just gorgeous. Deep red pattern. Some little yellow and black it looks like on the edge. Wow. There's the outside. Another agate here. Now, I'll be honest with you, cutting agates, I hate cutting agates. Not that I don't mind cutting, especially ones that are found, because these are real treasures here, in my opinion. And I don't like cutting them. I mean, I'm doing it for the show here and because the viewer wanted me to cut them, but don't get me wrong, it's really hard for me to cut these things. Look at that. Now this one, I had a hard time deciding how I wanted to cut it. Initially, I was just going to cut this end off here, but I think I'll split it because there's fortifications all over the place, but it ended up being fortifications around the outer edges, and that was it. Then there's some eyes and stuff here. Yeah, so I probably should have cut it the end off, but then looking at it, you know, there isn't a lot going on down here. It's a lot of just plain quartz, it looks like, except for the outer edges. So sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, but still a pretty rock. It's just beautiful on the outside. Look at that. And get this one here. Kind of a plain red looking thing. And it turned out to be almost white on the inside, or, you know, light gray. Who'd have thought that? Very pretty pattern. Yeah, I think this will make an awesome looking cab. Yeah, I don't think we looked at this one. I try not to lose count here. Okay, showing a little red here. Not much on that side. Look at that. Little tiny tit or a druzy pocket right there. Yeah. Isn't that pretty? All right, this one here, I'm going to call it the plain Jane one. It looked like that on the outside, and it looked like that on the inside. So not much change there. It'll make an awesomely shiny cabochon, though. I mean, there's a little bit of pattern up through here, but yeah. And then finally, in the batch of 10 here, I got this agate. I'll show you the outside. Lots of fortification. Kind of bumpy there. It had a druzy pocket right there. So I went ahead and split it down the middle. I think we did a good cut there. Look at that. That is just pretty. So, yeah. And then I cut a little bonus rock here because I wanted to see what was inside of it. Now, I'm not going to make a cab for it with this series, but I just wanted to see, you know, it's kind of bumpy on the outside like that. Cut it in half. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? That's a chunk of pattern in there. And that will make a beautiful cab if I can stay away from the pits on the outside here. So that's the only problem with some of these rocks. I don't think I could probably make a cab on this part right here. So we'll see. So there are the rocks that Gloria sent me for episode 53. And there's some really nice looking rocks in there. I'm totally impressed. Thanks, Gloria. I appreciate it. And I'm sure the viewers do as well. So I'm going to move these rocks out of the way, dry this pad off, and then we're going to take a look at some cabochons from episode 52 that Jennifer sent us from California. So stand by. All right, I cleared them wet rocks out of the way that Gloria sent me. Now I got the rocks that Jennifer sent me, and these are from California. And I made cabochons out of each one of these rocks. So let's take a look at them. We'll start with this big one here. And this is the order I cut them in. So that's 1 through 5 and 6 through 10 down here. So he sent me this really big one here, like that. I cut it in half. It's got a real cool pattern and stuff on the inside. The only problem is it had lots of fractures in it. So I cut it this way, And then the other piece, I cut it the other way, but I was able to get a cab out of here. So there's the rock. There's cabochon. Got a really good shine on it. Get some of the pattern. There's a fracture in there, but I don't think it's going to mess with anything here. So, yeah. So there's the cabochon, and there is the rock it came from. You can get it to focus on the cabochon here. Here, we'll do this. How's that? Okay. We sent this piece of quartz. I'm going to call it a piece of quartz with some streaking in it. A little dip of water in there so you can kind of remember what it looked like. Right there. Here is the cabochon. Really nice shine. Got the streaking in there. Yeah, thought that come out pretty good. So there's the original rock. There's cabochon I made out of it. All right, this one here, kind of, to me it looks like jasper and quartz in there. It had some really nice streaking in there. And it actually had some green running right up the middle there a little bit. Here's the cabochon I made. Even got a chunk of the green. You can see all the detail in that rock there, in addition to the quartz running through it. Took on a really good shine. And there's the original rock, and there's cabochon I made out of it. Yeah, this little black and white rock here, like that. Tried doing a bias cut on it, but I don't think it would have made any difference whether I cut it in half or whatever. So that's what it looked like on the inside. I like the contrast with the dark and the light there. Well, here is the cabochon. Nice shine. Good pattern. I think overall it come out very well. There's the original rock. There's cabochon I made out of it. All right, this one here, this one was really cool. It had fortifications all through it and everything. And really nice looking pattern. What it also had was a lot of fractures I couldn't see. So, this is what I ended up with. This started out as a much bigger cabochon, and then it broke. So then I went down one size, and then it broke again. So then I said, well, I'm going to do a natural shape out of what was left, and it managed to stay together, but you can see some fractures down here and along the bottom. I mean, this thing is absolutely gorgeous. Fortifications, moss, you know, the red stuff's kind of floating in there. I had really high expectations for this one, but this is what I ended up with. So there's the cabochon, and there's the rock it came out of. So, had this one here. This one had a lot of stuff going on too. And, get a little water on it. So you can, it had a really awesome pattern going on in there. With the gold and the color, and or the yellow and the red and the white. Here's the cabochon. Beautiful shine. The only problem is the deeper I went in, the more pits I came across. There's two right there. There's another one right there. A few fractures. I mean, overall, it's a really nice looking cab. But this thing is just packed full of pits. So there's the original rock, and there's cabochon I made out of it. This one here I thought was absolutely beautiful because of the red. Just that deep crimson here. and then it had some of this black stuff kind of mixed in there with it. So here is the cabochon. Another one absolutely gorgeous. A little undercutting though. I was kind of surprised with that, but man, I love the pattern on this thing. So there's the original rock, and there is the cabochon I made out of it. All right, so this one here is kind of a disappointment. That's what it looked like on the inside. I wanted this in the cab so bad, but it was just a thin layer on the surface there. And by the time I ground out all the pits and everything in there, there would have been absolutely nothing left of it. So I ended up doing it. I just going to go for a black cab, but there was a chunk on the side. It's got a little window in there, which is kind of cool. And it got some light brown and then a little on the bottom. There you go. So I thought it come out pretty good. Really shiny. You can see my reflection in it right there. So here's the original rock. There's the cabochon I made out of it. So this is the one I made 2 pass cuts on it because it kind of crumbled on the first cut. So I made another cut and it crumbled again right in this streak here. And I ended up with a whole bunch of little pieces like that. So originally I was just going to cut it the other way and just make a cabochon on the black. But I took one of the pieces that had an edge of this quartz or whatever this stuff is, and went ahead and made a cabochon out of that. And if I quit bumping the camera, everything would be cool. So look at that. Nice shine. It got incorporated a little bit of the quartz on the side. It didn't fall off. I love the pattern in there. It's got some little sparklies going in there too. Look at that. I thought I did a really good job creating a cabochon out of what I got when I cut that. I thought that looked pretty nice. So here's the original rock. There's cabochon I made out of it. And then finally, I had this one here, and this is a really pretty rock. It had this kind of teal green in it, but you don't see a lot in rocks out there. A couple little specks, quartz, a few little fractures. But this is the cab I made. Get it up here. Pretty good shine. Like the color though, it's just intense. And actually, it's kind of cool because the color come out as I was polishing, the color got even a little darker. So it's in there pretty good. So there's the original rock. And there is the cabochon I made out of it. So thanks again, Jennifer, for sending out these rocks. The rock cut was awesome, and the cabochons I thought came out pretty good. So eventually, someday, these will end up on Etsy. I know I say that in every we're going to, usually my wife takes pictures of all the rocks and then I put them on Etsy. It's not an easy thing to do, but I got to get them on there because they're starting to pile up now. So one of these days, there's going to be a big dump of rocks on there. So let's flip the camera around and finish this up. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching me cut those rocks Gloria sent from Tennessee. There are some really cool looking rocks and agates. Now, who thought Tennessee would be known for agates? But those were awesome looking agates. So I really appreciate Gloria for sending them up. And then next week we'll take those rocks and we'll make a cabochon out of each one so we can get to see that I actually do something with the rocks. And then the cabochons that were made out of Jennifer's rocks from California come out really good. Quite impressed with them. I think they look nice. So eventually they'll end up on Etsy. I know I keep saying that, but they'll end up on Etsy sooner or later. So If you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. Just go down and click on the subscribe button, absolutely free. Slide over, give me a thumbs up. That gets the analytics out there so more people can find this content. You can share it, hyperlink it on your mobile device, and then ring that bell so you get, or push the bell button so you get notifications when these videos come out. This video comes out every Wednesday, and then I got another video series that comes out every Saturday where I take a rough rock and I go through the whole process of making a cabochon, a single cabochon. I use a different rock every week, so check that out. So I am going to put up a playlist for this series here, and then I'll put up the video, the episode 52 video. So if you want to go back and see Jennifer's rocks cut, and then come back here and then you can see the cabochons I made out of them. So I really appreciate you coming and watching. I really do. That's all I got, and I'll catch you later.